I'm Ethan Owens from Fiasco Sports and SA Footballer Magazine. Today I'm joined by Joe Frick, President of the Walkerville Footy Club in the Division 3, and this is our weekly wrap. So we'll just start off with the results from the Division 3 from last weekend. Brighton Bombers defeated Walkerville, your boys, by 118 points. We'll come back to that after. Seaton Ramblers defeated Plympton by 49. Golden Grove defeated Portland by 2. Westminster defeated Mitcham by 38, and Flinders Park defeated Smosh Westlakes by 24. So back to your game, a tough loss for your guys. How do you feel like the match played out from your perspective?
It's a hard match, obviously, coming up against Brighton, being the league leaders. They've always been a tough team in the Southern Footy League, coming now into the Adelaide Football League. First quarter pretty much was it. I think it was 11 goals to 3 at quarter time. Kind of sets the tone for the match. Second and third quarters, watching the game, take away the scoreboard, our guys played really well, and you probably wouldn't pick that it was such a big margin. Fortunately, we never really made up much ground on the guys, on Brighton. Coming into the last quarter, probably the last 10 minutes they kicked away, and they really put it to the sword. Too many guys got free in their forward line, picking off guys on their own. We just couldn't match it in the end, really, and that sort of makes a difference to where the league is, that those top 3 or 4 teams are really, really good. The rest of the league need to really pick up if they want to match them.
And so they did score 67 points in that first quarter. That was more than your team scored in the entire match. Did you feel like you just never really could come back from that first quarter?
Well, you don't think that. It is hard when you look at the scoreboard when it's 11 goals to 3 or 11 goals to 2, and it really sits in the guys' mind. But to our guys' credit, they never really gave up. They really went hard. Tried to match it with them as best they could. Fell down a little bit across our half forward. But in the end, Brighton were just a much better team, and that showed on the day.
And so despite the loss, what sort of positive signs could you take from the performance the boys put together?
Well, just the effort, and that was across the board for the B grade and C grade as well. It was a pretty tough day for us down at Bomber Park, but just no one really ever gave up. They pushed as hard as they could. C grade had no bench, B grade tried as much as they could. A few people unavailable, but it's just a matter of just putting the effort in, getting around each other and coming out next week against Westminster at home.
And so who do you feel like were your best players on the weekend, and who really stepped up?
Sean Kirshner in the middle, definitely. I think he was best on ground for us. Just battled hard all day. Did all he could just to get the pill. Our ruckman, Tom, he really tried hard, and it's when you're coming up against a lot bigger bodied and a bit taller ruckman, but he battled all day as you go across. And Captain Ryan Madden, he's always up there, playing across half back. And in a matter of swinging players around, a couple of younger lads who coming in don't have the body build for it, but they just pushed all day. And it's just, it's a bit hard when you get a thumping like that to pick out best players, but I think, Sean Kirshner was definitely best on ground for us.
And previewing next week in the Division 3, I'll just grab some tips on these matches. Flinders Park and Mitcham.
Flinders Park will win that.
Golden Grove and Brighton Bombers.
This will be interesting. It's up at Golden Grove, and I think Golden Grove are a better team at home. Be an interesting one, but you have to back Brighton to win.
Seaton Ramblers and Portland.
Seaton should win that one pretty easily.
Smosh Westlakes and Plympton.
Well, Smosh haven't won a game, but again, that's probably where it is. You go with the form team in that one, and it's Plympton.
And obviously you guys are taking on Westminster. I assume you want to back yourself in that. Well, you did take them down in the second round. Yeah,
we did, and that's what the guys are going to this with some confidence that we beat them in the first time round. So we've done it before, let's do it again. And when you really need to win this game to really keep a chance of that 5th spot for finals, and anything can happen from there.
And what would you feel like is something that you can take away from a win, playing a team for the second time of the season? What sort of things do you learn?
Taken away from the win the second time or the first round?
From the round 2.
Round 2? Yeah. Well, just that confidence to know that our structure, our setup, our players can match it with them and can overtake them. And that's the reason with Westminster coming up from Division 4 as a Premiers last year, sort of a bit unknown to us. We hadn't played them for a long time. So we look at that and go, well, our structure's more set now. Our players know the game plan, know how Wayne and the coaches run it, and we've beaten them already. So we can do this again. So it's a matter of just hitting it and playing 4 quarters.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Joe. I'm Ethan Owens from Fiasco Sports and SA Footballer Magazine. Today I was joined by Joe Frick, President of the Walkerville Footy Club in Division 3, and that was our weekly wrap.